Dear friends, today we have a special episode of Super Tony's Adventures. Enjoy! Good news, folks! Tony and I came to a resort and we are gonna enjoy the beach, lie on the warm sand, and swim in the ocean. By the way, it wouldn't hurt to know how to behave in the water, so as not to accidentally drown. So, let's see. All kind of things can be found underwater. Stones, algae, or even garbage. So you should only swim in approved places. But if you're unlucky and you're stuck in algae, you have to lie on your back and swim backwards, making smooth movements. If you can't get rid of the plants, you have to try to raise your legs and remove the plants with your hands. But algae are only half the problem. It is much more dangerous if you have a cramp while swimming. Most often it happens in the legs. In that case, you have to stretch the cramped muscle as much as possible. You can use your hands to help yourself. If that doesn't work, you need to straighten your leg and swim as fast as possible to the shore using your hands, without paying attention to the pain. By the way, experienced swimmers always keep a pin with them, because a small sting in the muscle relieves the cramp. Another underwater danger are currents. If you are caught up in one, don't try to fight back. Instead, swim downstream and gradually, at a slight angle, approach the shore. If you feel tired, lie on your back and keep swimming, but don't give up. In addition, you should never swim under the influence of alcohol. Alcohol stops vasoconstriction and vasodilation from properly working, which again can lead to cramps. And most importantly, do not hesitate to call for help in case of emergency. Even better if you don't go swimming alone, but with your friends, and keep a close eye on each other. Because as a rule, a person who begins to drown can't scream and can't flounder, despite what you see in movies. They just go under the water quickly and unexpectedly, and after that, nobody will hear them scream. Those are some basic rules that can save your life. Friends, take care of yourself and your loved ones. Remember that water can be dangerous, so you should be careful. Tony, pack your bags. We're going to visit some islands. We're gonna relax and swim. Great! Now we're ready to show our audience how to behave in case of a shark attack. To begin with, I would like to point out that sharks are not the bloodthirsty killers that we see in movies. Statistically, there are less than 100 shark attacks every year around the world. In fact, more people are attacked by dogs every year. Overall, it is not typical for sharks to chase people around, only when they are very hungry. They don't care who they hunt, and their survival instinct makes them attack humans. And they starve because of what? That's right, Tony, because of people. More specifically, industrial fishermen who catch tons of fish that sharks could have enjoyed. Well, let's see how to behave if you see a shark. First of all, don't start floundering and splashing around, as this will attract the attention of the predator. Second, don't try to swim away from it. This is impossible and can provoke the shark to attack. You need to stay where you are, keep calm, and keep your eyes on the predator. Most likely, the shark will leave because, as we said earlier, human beings are not part of their diet. But if the shark attacks you, try to hit it. For example, you can punch it in the eyes and tip of the nose. These are the most sensitive areas on the shark's body. In most cases, these underwater predators will leave immediately after they feel resistance. They like more defenseless victims. And of course, it's important having someone else around to get you out of the water. The thing is that sharks first circle around their victims, studying them, and then suddenly attack and bite them. After that, they wait next to the prey until the latter is exhausted from losing blood. That's when you need someone to save you. How are you, Tony? Come on, don't be upset. Look what an enlightening video we've made. Tony, stop playing in the bathtub. It's time for a new exciting experiment. By the way, I have an amazing idea. Let's find out what happens to the human body underwater. Not in the tub, but somewhere deeper and darker. So, we're in a special pool used by scuba divers and freedivers to practice. In case you don't know, freediving is a special form of diving that relies on breath holding until resurfacing rather than the use of breathing apparatus such as scuba gear. Well, let's take the plunge. When you just dive underwater, your diving reflex activates. First, your heart rate slows down, reducing your body's oxygen intake. A reflex preventing water from getting into your lungs activates as well, and then the blood shift comes into play. This means that your blood is redistributed towards the vital organs, protecting them from pressure. Underwater, the pressure is much higher because water is much heavier than air. So even at a depth of 1 meter, Tony can feel the water squashing him. At a depth of 10 meters, the pressure is twice as high. At a depth of 30 meters, is 3 times higher. At a depth of 100 meters, it's so high that your lungs shrink up to the size of a baseball. But we aren't ready to get there yet. Even at a smaller depth, the pressure can lead to severe injuries. Your eardrums can burst, your lungs stretch out and shrink, causing alveoli to burst and making you cough up blood. What are alveoli? These are tiny bubbles through which gas exchange takes place. Oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide goes out. An average adult human has about 600 million alveoli in their lungs. Besides, resurfacing too fast is really dangerous. The sharp drop in external pressure causes gases to create air bubbles that lead to malperfusion. This can lead to decompression sickness, which can cause paralysis or even death. As you can see, freediving is a pretty dangerous hobby. Oxygen deficiency triggers the outflow of blood from the limbs to the vital organs. Motor skills deteriorate and you can faint, which can be fatal underwater. So friends, never dive deep alone and without special training. The world record for freediving belongs to 49-year-old Austrian Herbert Nitsch, who in 2012 reached a depth of 253 meters. Tony and I decided to take a trip to the ocean on our little boat. Well, buddy, looks like we are already far away from the shore. Shouldn't we be going back? Perfect, the engine's broken now. Well, congrats, Tony. Now you are in the middle of the ocean without food, water, or any chance of survival. Okay, I'm kidding about the last part. As always, I know exactly what to do and I'm gonna tell you right now. It might sound strange, but you shouldn't panic about water or food for now. The most important thing is remaining calm. When people panic, they tend to make mistakes and make bad decisions. Moreover, they move around a lot when they really should be saving their energy. The worst has already happened, Tony. You are in the open sea, so there's no time to panic. You just have to survive. Now that we know that, let's try to find some fresh water. The best source of water in such cases is rain. So, prepare some containers to collect as much raining water as possible. But what if there is no rain, you ask? Then you'll have to make a water distillation device. You will need a big container with a smaller container inside. Pour some salt water in the big one and cover the construction with a plastic bag. In the middle of the bag, put a small weight. You'll just have to wait and the water will start to evaporate. Some water will accumulate on the plastic bag, then roll to the center and it will fall down into the small container. Now we need some food. Fortunately, it's not that complicated in the middle of the ocean. You just need to make a fishing rod with the things you have at hand. You can use ropes, threads, buttons, jewels, safety pins, and much more. Once you caught your first fish, you can use it as bait. If your fishing skills aren't enough to catch some food, then you can eat plankton and algae. You can also use any fabric to make a net. It will allow you to catch some small creatures. They won't taste good, but you don't have much choice if you want to live. Now we have some important rules. If there is a storm coming, you should move all your belongings to the middle of the boat and find a place there for you too. This will prevent the boat from capsizing. On the other hand, if the sun is hitting hard, you should try to protect yourself from UV rays. In the middle of the ocean, the sun not only hits you directly, but its rays are reflected from the surface of the water, so you have twice the chance of suffering from heat stroke or sunburns. Now it's time to save ourselves. Basically, if you end up stranded in the ocean, you shouldn't go anywhere, because rescue teams will come for you. But in this case, nobody knows that Tony decided to take a boat trip, so we should look for some land. You should remember that clouds form mainly over land and that lightning only hits on shore. And if you are close to the coast, you'll start seeing more and more birds. So Tony, let's start looking. Tony, quickly pack your things. It's time to go. What do you mean, what happened? It's a disaster, Tony. The swimming season is coming to an end and we haven't told our viewers where they shouldn't swim. Let's go. Chop chop. Let's start with Africa, with a special place located south from the Sahara Desert. In the muddy waters of this place lives one of the most ferocious predators of our planet. The Nile crocodile is a ruthless and enormous beast, which takes the lives of hundreds of people each year. This killing machine knows how to wait, how to hide, and how to bite anyone and anything that gets in its way. Now let's go to Hawaii. You probably think it's heaven on earth, but let me tell you about a place you should avoid, Hanakapiai Beach. The rip current in this place is so strong that more than 100 have died here. Despite being so dangerous, there are many brave people who aren't afraid to swim in these waters. But Tony and I aren't like them, and we would like to remain safe and show you other interesting places. Let's go to Indonesia. The Citarum River, located on the island of Java, is the most polluted river in the world. A long time ago, the water here was crystal clear, but today, more than 500 factories and plants throw all kind of waste in the river. The surface is covered with bags, bottles, rags, and garbage. You can't even see the river itself because of all the trash. Shame, shame! People should be punished for doing things like this to Mother Nature. And finally, we have to talk about the Amazon River. Caimans, piranhas, and electric eels are just some of the dangerous creatures that live here. In this place, you could encounter the small toothpick fish, which are so small that they can enter the body through any hole. If you know what I mean, Tony. Haha, I'm kidding. Nevertheless, this fish is real and it can invade the gills of other fish and drink their blood. But not once has a toothpick fish been found inside a human body. It's just a scary myth, Tony. So, the first place we are gonna visit is Queensland, Australia, on the northeast coast of the country. It is located near the Great Barrier Reef, which is the reason why the water is filled with incredible sea animals. In this place, you can find sharks, saltwater crocodiles, poisonous octopuses, and jellyfish. And a face-to-face meeting with such creatures can have a sad outcome. There are government projects to protect tourists, but for now, they're not helping that much. By the way, there's another dangerous place not far from here, Fraser Island. It is the world's largest sand island. The water, as you may have guessed, is filled with danger. But in this place, being on the beach is already dangerous enough. The island is inhabited by poisonous spiders and aggressive dingoes. These animals aren't willing to become your friends, so don't risk your life and find a safer place to spend your vacation in Australia. Now, let's visit the island of Dominica, which is part of the Lesser Antilles archipelago in the Caribbean Sea. In this place, there's a boiling lake, heated by underground magma. The temperature on the shore can reach 90 degrees Celsius, so swimming here is like bathing in a steaming pot of soup. Finally, let's visit Spain, more exactly the Rio Tinto River. The red and orange water seems from another planet. This unnatural shade is caused by the high concentration of heavy metals in the river, which end up there from the copper, silver, and gold mines nearby. Tony, wait! You'll dissolve in this water before getting rich. The river is very acidic, reaching levels similar to those of gastric juice, which of course isn't safe for any living creature. So friends, while Tony desperately tries to find some precious metals in this river, tell us if you know any dangerous beaches, lakes, or rivers. The best comment will be featured in the next episode. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Super Tony will be back soon with a new adventure. Bye-bye.